So I was hoping just to talk a little bit back to, let's take back to age 15. You hear Eruption being played for the first time and you decide you want to play.
Yes.
Can you take me back to that moment?
Yeah, I had just moved to a different area of Massachusetts with my parents, and it was the summer before high school, and we were comforter shopping, things for the new house, whatever. And I was so bored out of my mind, and I just clearly remember zoning out, and then I heard Eruption over the loudspeakers of this store outlet, and it was like the most captivating thing. And I don't know if it was because I was just so bored or just what, but it just like grabbed me like nothing else before. Prior to that, I had really listened to a lot of 90s hip hop and stuff like that. I was really not into rock and roll at all. Um, my mom listened to some disco and my dad listened to like Hank Williams. So like I didn't get much musical inspiration from them. They didn't really introduce me to a whole lot. So my mind and I asked my mom what she didn't know, and so I asked somebody that worked at the store, and they found out that it was Van Halen. So I said to my mom, um, I've been shopping with you all day long. I think you owe it to me. Take me to the Newbury Comics, the record store. It's right down the street. And I bought Van one in 1984, and that just started my musical journey into rock and roll. And then that day, I decided I wanted to be able to play that on guitar. Goals musically, I just wanted to play that. Didn't think about being in a band, anything. I was like, I just want to be able to redo what he did there. That was so cool. And that was like all I thought
Okay.
about for like the next few months.
Okay, so how long did that actually take you? Because I'm curious, because I didn't learn finger tapping until I was like several years in.
Well, finger tapping is actually easier than a G chord in some respects. Like
Yeah,
one
it's a big
string, and
thing
it's just
for
it's
sure.
kind of like it's kind of basic if you get down to it. Of course, there's more advanced tapping techniques, but it didn't take me too long until after I got a guitar. But I didn't get a guitar right away because I ended up starting school, and then there was no musical like band or anything like that in this school. I went to a Catholic high school, and
Okay.
so I wasn't able to jump into it right away. And so then once I did, though, it went quick because I was just obsessed with the idea of it. And that's all I wanted to do. Like my parents couldn't get me out of my room to eat dinner. Like I was just like, no, I'm busy, I'm busy. And that was it. I was like very dedicated.
That's awesome. So when you started, I am guessing like the early 2000s, did you know many other girls or women who played guitar, not including celebrities, just sort of in your circle?
No, no, I didn't know anybody, but so I was in high school and I have a younger sister. And so then, being the younger sister, I think she was like, oh, cool, I want to jam with you. So she started playing drums. So we played cover songs and stuff together. And then a friend of mine in high school played bass, but she wasn't, it wasn't too advanced because she had like big acrylic nails and couldn't really part with those. But we jammed for a while. So early on, I did jam with some girls there in high school. And then when I went into college, right before college, I there was this all female rock band in Boston called Tootsie, and they were a trio, power trio, and they were awesome. And they broke up, and so I was able to get in touch with the drummer. Actually, their manager at the time kind of found me and connected the drummer and myself. Her name's Hillary, and we started a new project, and we started this band called Jaded, which was an all-female metal band that we did out of Boston. And so I loved playing with all women from the very get-go. I just think like I don't know. I read a lot of those autobiographies and stuff growing up, and over the dirt, and the Van Halen books and things like that. And it's like it's kind of like very male chauvinistic, kind of like
Yes.
all that. It's definitely like a boys club. And I was like, I don't know. I think girls are cooler than all this, and I want to have like a girl gang. And I was inspired by like the Pink Ladies and stuff from Greece. And I was like, I just want this cool girl gang, and it's going to be even better than rocking with boys because I had been in bands with all guys, and it was cool, but it was just always more fun and more of a connect with women. So,
God, I think I was like in fourth grade when Edge of a Broken Heart came out. And I remember that video very well. How old were you? Do you
how old
remember
was I when that came
when
out?
the Vixen?
Don't know, and I'll tell you what, I grew up like my parents were pretty strict, and I was not allowed to watch MTV. So I missed the whole. I was not allowed to like see. My parents like banned that station. Yeah, there weren't a lot, but early on, I was inspired by Vixen because, like I said, Eddie Van Halen was the first thing that got me going in music, and so then from there, I got into all the other hair bands and
Yeah, yeah.
80s music because I liked that better. I mean, growing up in the 90s. like the depressing, emotions of Nirvana and stuff. It just didn't excite me. But when I actually saw what Eddie Van Halen looked like, I would buy like these old VHS tapes and stuff at flea markets, and I was like, when he was jumping around, like smiling, and he just looked like he was having the best time on stage, and that's what I wanted. I was like, this guy looks like there's nothing better going on. Why would I be into the other music if this music's so much fun and these guys are so depressed over here? So then I started, listening to all that 80s rock, and then I saw Vixen and Lita Ford, and those were the two that really got me. And of course, Heart, I was aware of Heart, and the Runaways, but that music was a little less of, what I was into at the time.
You didn't feel a connection to that as much.
Not as
I
much
do
at the
love
time.
at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
loved like Poison and Motley Crue and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I want to fast forward. I know you had a lot of great experience at Northeastern, but then you have this story about auditioning for Lady Gaga that kind of opened some really big doors for you, and I want to get to that. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I had been playing around Boston and parts of the country and overseas with Jaded, and we were doing really great, but we always had issues with our singer, and I was like going on to replace the singer for like the third time, and I was just burnt out about it. And it's hard to, make money doing your own original band, and we were very DIY, and it was cool, but it was hard. I was complaining to a friend of mine, my neighbor, and he was like, why don't you just audition and be a gun for hire? So he was Alice Cooper's guitar tech, still is. And I said, well, okay, I don't even know what that entails. Like for me, it was like the band mentality was everything. Like you're in a band, you do one for all for one for all, and you live together at a band house, rehearse every night. Like that's what I thought being in a band was. So like this idea of just coming in and just playing guitar and not working on writing songs or how we're gonna make it was like foreign to me. And he said, yeah, Lady Gaga's having an open call in New York next week, and you should just go. And I was like, well, it's not even the music that I'm really into playing, but I guess why not? I'll see what this is all about. He's like, yeah, you just plug in and play, and that's your job, and that's it. There's no stress other than playing the shows. I was like, that could be cool. So I went down there, and I got the call back, and I got the next call back, and the next call back, and I ended up auditioning there for almost a week, and kept going through these different rounds, and it was interesting. A lot of great players, and then it got down to the wire between me and one other person, and at the end of that last day, she went with the other person, and I always wondered really why, because there were some funny moments where she'd be like, call me aside and say, hey, I want you to just wear kitchen appliances on stage. Is that going to be cool? And I would be like, sure. And then she'd be like, okay, wait, stop. Hold on. I have another question for you. Will you shave your head if you get the gig? And I was like, sure, but I like didn't want to, but I was like, hmm. So anyways, there was like some funny things going on there that I was like, I wonder, maybe she just didn't want a female, but who knows? You never know. But regardless of that, when I didn't get it, I was pretty upset, just because I was like, well, maybe I'm not supposed to be doing music. I did one audition and I didn't get it. Maybe this isn't my path. I was kind of bummed out about that. And my parents owned a telecommunications company in Massachusetts, and I grew up working for the business, learning all of it, and I was good at it, but obviously it wasn't my passion. So at that time, I didn't get the audition, and I didn't want to keep replacing singers in my band, so I was like, maybe I'm just supposed to do telecommunications. And so after that, I committed to that, and I said, okay, guys, I'm in. I'll really commit. And so 2 weeks into that, I got a call from somebody that said, I saw you perform at the Lady Gaga auditions, and you're great, and you're perfect for this band that's looking for a new guitar player. It's a big world tour, but it's a Spanish artist, but check out the YouTube videos I'm going to send you and let me know if you're interested. And I watched these YouTube videos, and like the crowd is singing along, screaming louder than the actual artist singing through the microphone in the PA, and it was like, it looked huge, like Beatles or something. And I was like, wow, how have I never heard of this artist? And so I did some research, and I got that gig. So from that, and then not only did I get that gig and go on a great 3-year tour with that artist, and do some live albums and all sorts of stuff. That was just one of the best experiences ever. But then I continued to get gigs all from different people that saw me at that one audition. And to be honest, I've never really auditioned since, which is crazy because from then on it was kind of word of mouth and just everything else that you do and the path that you follow. I think really what I realized was if it's in your heart and you're really passionate about it, you know, there's ways that it will just kind of happen. And I only thought that there was one way of getting into the business. Like when I was younger, didn't really know as much. And I was just, you know, banging my head against the wall working with my one band. And I realized sometimes you just have to take the scenic route. Like there's not just one direct way to get to your goal. And you know, auditioning for an artist that I may not have really had any interest in, but just going out on that leap of faith and just trying things and saying yes to opportunities, even if they're not necessarily the ones that you think you want and you think you need, lead to, you know, where your heart is. For the Spanish artist Alejandro Sanz, some of his, you know, songs and stuff were totally out of my wheelhouse, not, I was playing metal at the time and these were like different chords and different, you know, rhythms, you know, and I didn't really know if I was capable of the job, but I was like, I will find a way to make this work and I'm going to work really hard to do it.
That's so exciting. I really appreciate that. So you auditioned for and joined Vixen a couple of years after one of their founders, a guitar player, Janice, had passed away due to cancer. I have to ask, like, knowing you had those big shoes to fill and that this was kind of a dream opportunity, like, how did that hit you? In what ways was that stressful or exciting?
I was super excited. You know, it wasn't like anything that I ever expected. So I was kind of caught off guard. So I didn't really have that much time to get too nervous. You know, I was just like, yeah, let's do this. I went to audition, learned the material, and it felt good right away. I love the other women in the band. They were just all awesome. And it brought me back to playing with all women again, which is what I really love to do. But I was definitely nervous because Jan is such a respected guitar player and, you know, founder of the band. So I definitely wanted to justice and stuff. And of course, I'm not her and nobody can play exactly like somebody else. But I did work hard to make sure that I kept the integrity of all the songs and solos. Of course, adding my own flair that you can't avoid because you're your own person. I was really happy to be so warmly received by all the fans. It's such a great community, and I've loved meeting them all and touring. And I've been in the band for a good amount of years now, so it's still going great. And we've had a couple lineup changes since, and they've all been awesome. And I just love that the band continues to go on and. You know, the more and more we play, especially I keep seeing more younger people in the audience, and it's just reaching a new generation now, and it's very cool.
It's so cool to see the everlasting quality of, like, you know, this is going on 40 years.
Yeah,
50 years,
yes.
yeah, it's really cool that they've managed to do that, and then just like some of the players are all excellent. Like I was watching Vixen through the years, and you're great that you've been able to be a part of that family.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah. No, it's definitely an honor.
I'd like to talk now, obviously, about, you know, the big thing, which is the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp and your role as the artistic director. And something you said in another interview really just struck me. You said that before launching the all-women camp, there were only 5 or 6 women who attended the traditional camp, I guess. Why do you think that is?
You know, I think rock and roll, it just still is kind of, you know, male dominated. You know, unfortunately, I mean, even though it's changed so much and it's gotten so much better, I think like, you know, if I walk down the street carrying a guitar with my boyfriend, people think I'm carrying his guitar. Like, you know, it's just the mindset of that rock and roll is kind of goes with male. So it's funny you asked that because this week, so I interview every camper that signs up for camp to kind of assess their experience, personality, so I can place them in a band. So all day yesterday and all day today, I'm doing these Zoom interviews with campers, and I'm interviewing the women campers for this upcoming women's camp. And many of them say, "I'm so glad I found this, and I can do this now because I wouldn't have signed up for this if it was co-ed." Like I felt the confidence to be able to sign up for this because it's all women. So like that says so much to me. So why that is, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just a comfortability, and I have to say that the um, support, all the rock camps are very supportive, and that's like one of the huge, things about the
Mhm.
camp that is so special. It's a real bonding experience, a great networking experience, and you just meet people, and you guys, everybody stays together post camp and keeps in touch, and it's like a big family, extended family.
Yeah.
But on it with the women's camp, it's like that times 10. It takes it to a whole other level of support and encouragement, and everybody can just be really open and honest. Think about how they're feeling. If they're insecure about this, maybe I don't feel comfortable on stage, I'm insecure about this part. And I just don't think that naturally we're that open to being so vulnerable in front of the opposite
Yeah.
sex. And I think it goes both ways too. And so when you allow yourself to open up like that, you can really improve because you're putting it out there, and you can really focus on what you want to get better on, instead of kind of hiding what faking it through. I don't know. I mean, I feel that way too.
No, I feel that way a lot. Like I feel like if when I would go to the guitar center and I'd ask about like what this pedal's gonna do or tube amp, I feel like internally insecure. Whereas if
Right.
I asked you to show me how to do a pinch harmonic, I don't know, it feels safer, and I think there's the multitude of reasons for that.
Right. Yes, exactly. And even we do Q&As with all the special guests and stuff, and like when we had last year's women camp, we had Winona Judd and Lizzie Hale, and when we were doing both their Q&As, like the things that came out, um just naturally women relate to things that men don't experience. So some of
Yeah.
the things that we were able to just talk about, and it was just really moving and emotional, and so real, and authentic. So I think that really just comes through so much at the camps, and we have a great turnout at this camp. But yeah, David Fishoff, a founder of Rock Camp, was like, so if you only get about five women at each camp, how are you going to sell out a full camp of women only? And I said, they're going to come because the men aren't going to be there, and it's going to be even better. So, and it's true. That's what happened.
And how long has the women's camp been going on for?
We started it in
How many years?
2022, so this is the third
Okay.
annual one. So we do one a year.
Gotcha.
And so this
So
camp features.
who tends to go to the camp? Sorry. Oh,
Oh
sorry.
yeah, no, I was just gonna say this camp is great. Nancy Wilson's coming back for her second one. She did the first
Yeah, yeah.
women's rock camp. She's doing another one again because she loves it so much, and I think she's even gonna get even more involved at the next one because it's an important women. The response we've gotten, we had Melissa Etheridge at the first one. She loved the concept. She loved the all female idea. Um, We've had Kathy Valentine, Orianthi,
Hmm.
Vicky Peterson. But yeah, at this camp, we have Nancy Wilson, we have Lita Ford, we have Nita Strauss, and we have Sheila E., Rhonda Smith, and so many great counselors. We have Pink, Eva Gardner, Mo Munaz is doing a camp. She's plays for Olivia Rodrigo. We have Julia Lodge, my bass player now in Vixen. Just so many great people. We're going to have a panel of amazing guest speakers in the industry. Rock and roll fashion show, a stage makeup tutorial from somebody from Mac Makeup. We're going to have a big opening night party at the Gibson showroom. So we have a lot of festivities, and it's going to be awesome. But to get to your question, the people that come. So we have people from all over the world. Almost at every camp, we have somebody that comes from either Australia or Japan or Sweden, South America. So we usually get a couple people that come from overseas, Canada a lot as well, and then all over the country. And we get people of all ages. We usually have range from like 10 to 75. And we have all different experience levels. We have people that just picked up a guitar during COVID and have never played outside of their bedroom, let alone jammed with another person or a band or stepped on a stage. And then we have people that play in, say, heart tribute bands that gig out every weekend. So we have a complete full spectrum. Everybody's welcome. And no matter what level you're at, you always grow a lot at these camps. And one of my favorite things somebody said to me was, I've been taking guitar lessons now for 4 years, weekly, and I learn more in these 4 days of camp.
Yeah.
Because it's full immersion. Put your phones away. You're in it. We're here for 12-hour days or more. We're going to pack it all in, and you're going to really, it's very focused. Some people come back to camp too, and they've come to camp as a guitarist, and now they want to come as a drummer
Yeah.
or as a vocalist because they want to experience it from a different way. So that's all possible. And we have jam rooms where you can, even if you signed up as a singer, you can get behind the kit and trade instruments, jam with other campers that aren't in your band, other counselors, and it is truly an amazing experience. And what I have to tell you is I worked hard on pinch harmonics too. And so for me, the secret is, I got to be honest, I I have an acrylic nail on just this one nail, and I use it a lot to pick. So I first these tiny little picks, these jazz
Is
picks.
that your index finger on your left hand? Okay.
My
Oh,
right
the
hand,
tiny picks.
my strumming
Right
finger.
hand. Okay.
And I choke it down really hard, and I use a combination of my nail and the pick, and that's how I get the pinch harmonic. So it hits my nail first, and then it kind of mutes it with the pick, creating that harmonic. So it kind of it's a double hit type thing, and that's how I get the pinch harmonic.
I have one more question for you though. So I read in your another thing about you that you are a fan of obviously the Les Paul, which a lot of guitarists are, but also the Charvel, which is interesting. 'Cause it's kind of like an indie, a cool brand. Like not a lot of people talk about that.
Yeah, the
Is that
Charvels
your name?
are I'm gonna
Okay.
just because I'm here. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my favorite Charvel, and it's a wild card. And what I like about this is, so Les Pauls have two humbuckers.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when I was playing for Alejandro and stuff, a single coil sound. You've got two single coils plus the humbucker, but this humbucker really rocks. So it can sound really heavy or really clean. Nice about this is this neck is so it doesn't have paint on it. And so it's really smooth.
It's unfinished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Sure.
So that's really nice, and it's not too heavy, and it's contoured nice, and of course it still has the which I miss on the Strats, because they have a Strat too,
Yeah.
but a lot of times, Floyd Rose is great because you don't have to tune in between every song and stuff, and you can get crazy with it, and it will never go out of tune. The only risk you have is breaking a string, but that's why you always just have a backup when you have a Floyd Rose. And it's got a 5 selector knob, so it's got a lot of tone options. And I love just the one volume because, I don't know, sometimes it's dark, you're on stage, you're jumping around and you're feeling around, and I hate having the tone, and I hit the tone knob by accident instead of the volume, and now my tone's off, and, so it's just less is more.
I agree. Can I tell you a secret? I've actually never told anyone this before. I just turn all the knobs up because I don't want to mess up.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like it's too much to do to turn up the knobs. Like I
The
have
less
my
you can-
pedals.
yeah.
My amp pedal is high, and if I just want to boost in my bridge pickup, that's what I do. I don't like the knobs.
Yeah, I used to have a pretty complex pedal board set up, and now it's so simple. And I realize the less I have to think on stage, the more I can really be in the moment. And so keep it simple.
God, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is a lot of time, and I know you are super busy. I am very excited to learn more about the camp. Is there anything else you want to share with Rockmommy? Because our publication, I did start it as a mom. I interview with tons of moms, and I think this is the perfect thing to do if you're a mom because it's been a stressful November for some of us, and be a perfect pre-holiday getaway.
Absolutely, it really is. And it's a great bonding experience if you have kids that are interested in music. We have like mom and daughters come to this, or
That sounds cool.
thing. We've had a full family bands come, and it's the thing ever. This camper Keith and his two sons have a band called the Intemperate Sons, and they came together after rock camp, and they're playing at the Viper Room here this week. They just invited me to their show, so possible. But it's the best thing if you just need a break from daily life, if you need to be re-inspired, if you're going through something. I just spoke to a woman that signed up because she just beat breast cancer, and this is something she's doing for her. Somebody else just lost their mom, and so this is for them now, and after taking so much care of their parent, and it is a good reason to come, and you will always leave feeling re-energized and positive, and with a great new friends.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Britt. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon.